So, many of you guys know that one of my favorite game series is Far Cry. Yes, I know, the game series has kind of taken a dip as of late, but honestly, I think Far Cry still has a lot of... I still think if you give it to the... If Ubisoft can just pull its head out of its corporate ass, I really do think you could salvage the game series. And I kind of figured, why not get... There was a opportunity to make something cool. Like, there was something to make it against the grain, but they went another route. And don't get me wrong, Far Cry 5's good. The expansion, not so much. But I think there's I think there's an answer of how to make Far Cry cool. Make Far Cry interesting again. And this is my pitch for that. And, yeah. So we're just going to talk about that. We're going to talk about, like, how you could make Far Cry, like, my pitch for a Far Cry game. Now, when I said Far Cry was interesting, a long time ago, or, several years ago, that was Far Cry Primal. Far Cry Primal came out at a time where we kind of got Far Cry'd out, admittedly. We had Far Cry 3, and then immediately Far Cry 4 after that. And then Far Cry Primal came out, and then there's a few spin-off games, too. And I was like, oof, that was a lot. But I will say Far Cry Primal did something really cool, where it was setting you in the Stone Age, and you had to fight against other tribes, you had to tame prehistoric beasts. My thought, my train of thought is, that was such a cool idea of depending not so much on guns, but more like, crafting, needing to keep warm, needing to eat to get your health back. Do stuff like that. Like, I really like the idea of doing something like Primal again, but maybe not set it in that era. Like, maybe my pitch is actually set it during the age of the Mayans. Like, this is the Mayan Empire, and you play as like a Mayan warrior. That's my thought, is that I would call this Far Cry Blood of the Gods or something, and essentially what it would be is that you play as a Mayan warrior, and this is the height of the Mayan Empire. But unfortunately, this is also the start of the war, the arrival of the Spaniards. The Spaniards have arrived, and your group was the first people to go like, fuck these guys, these ain't gods. And they all got killed, including your family. However, your character survives getting massacred by these Spaniards. Specifically, it would be like some Spaniard general who works for Cortez, and that would be your primary villain for the game. So in this game, you would essentially be found by a healer, like a shaman. You'd be found by like a shaman, and he would like bless you and keep you alive and actually like revive you and say that you are, the gods have blessed you. Like, the gods have blessed you to carry out your rage on these devils. So on these foreign devils. So you will go out into the world, and this is how you would get your abilities. Like, this is how you would get your tracker ability to follow animals. This would also give you the ability, because I like the idea of doing the whole taming animals thing again. So I would have it like that's how you can tame animals, as well as kind of give you another ability that would be called like that would just be called like a bloodlust, and that would give you like several seconds, and you could upgrade it throughout the upgrading menu. And what you could do is like upgrade it to the point where you could stay like in this bloodthirsty, like just all rage, like you're just going out tanking hits and whatnot, and using it to kill these opponents. I think that would be really cool. I think that would be a really neat idea. Is like you're basically being possessed. Like, it's not so much a bloodlust. The shaman would say like your body's being used by Chalk. I apologize if I can't properly pronounce that name, but you're basically possessed by Chalk, the Mayan god of war. So he's fighting through. So he's basically saying like, oh, he fights through you. So that allows you to go like invincible for like 30 seconds of just pure, unadulterated, like Doom-esque murder spree. I think that it like also like we had like in Far Cry Primal we had like these really cool, beautiful settings of this open world of the Stone Age. So imagine like a jungle out, the jungles of Central America, and what kind of wildlife you would encounter, like jaguars, crocodiles, anacondas. Use those for crafting for new weapon, and upgrading your weapons and your kit. A lot of people forget that Mayans were actually very a lot of people forget that they were actually expert healers too. I think a lot of people forget, and it's kind of a detriment, I think, that they're just known for cutting out people's hearts. That's that's most what we know as human sacrifice stuff. And I wouldn't stray away from the human sacrifice stuff. Like, it's just part of the culture. But here, how I would do it is it would still be there. And I would even have, like, you would actually sacrifice these conquistadors and any other tribes that have turned on your culture and is helping the Spanish, because there is historical documentation that there were tribes and other kingdoms who actually allied with the Spanish to fight the Mayans. So, we do have that. We do have documentation of that. Or was it the Aztecs? That the Mayan? I can't remember. But anyway, so that would be the idea. Is that and also, like, I really like the idea of using, like, these kind of, like, new tools, like obsidian, like the swords made of pure obsidian. Slings, bows and arrows, all kinds of cool stuff. Like, I would even have, like, you could build traps to ensnare your opponents. I would even have, like, there's a weapon, like, since most warriors of Central America could, like, jump from trees, I'd have it like you can scale trees and almost do, like, since it's also under Ubisoft, like, again, a little bit of Assassin's Creed, where you could climb up a tree and, like, make your trap as, like, waiting for them, and then jump down and do, like, a silent takedown on them, or something of that degree. So, I just would like to do, like, something, like, just different. Like, I don't need, like, I think it's time to go back to, like, something of a different era. Like, do a different era story like Primal was. Because Primal was really cool, but it just got lost in the shuffle of this FarCry fatigue that Ubisoft, just diarrhea dumped on us all. And, yeah, I think that would be really cool. Do it in a different era. So, you guys tell me in the comments below. What would your idea? What's your pitch for a Far Cry game? To all the Far Cry fans out there, I lost myself for a second. I'm sorry, but yeah, what would be your pitch for a Far Cry game? And what did you think of this one? Just comment below. Let me know. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the multiverse.